If you've just adopted a puppy or a new dog and you want to bond with them, here are 6 ways that you can be doing this that aren't necessarily the typical ways that people are talking about. So we're getting a little creative here, but also very functional. One of my favorite ways and one of the best ways that I bonded with my puppies was through car rides. And there's a whole process to this. We've got lots of videos on how you can be doing this. There's playlists on traveling with your dog and how to get them comfortable with the car and feeling secure about being in the car and how to teach them good car manners. So you can check all those things out. But for me, I bonded so strongly with my dogs over car rides. And it started with adopting Lucy. So when I adopted Lucy, we were on like a 14-hour car ride to get her from where she was to where we were. And so it was just pure bonding time with her. It was bonding time with Gemma when I brought her home, although it was not nearly that long. But then I also took my dogs on lots of car trips because I was training them to have good car manners so that I could travel with them. My previous dogs, Lacey and Jada, who I lost earlier this year, were fine in the car, but it took them a while to settle down. My new dogs, you put them in the car and they go to sleep. It's amazing. Training them from the minute you bring them into your house is just an elite way of being a dog parent. And so I took my dogs on lots of car trips. I would have somebody else drive and I would sit in the back seat with my dogs and I would just cuddle them and hold them. I had them in their harnesses and strapped in with their seatbelts and I would show them the world. I would show them out the window. I would teach them how to interact with people who were walking by. I would show them the different sights and the sounds and the smells, and I would cuddle with them. They would sit on my lap. They would sit in my arms. When they were babies, they would sit in a box. So I actually had a padded dog box. It's meant to be like a dog seat for your car for like puppies or small dogs. I'll link things in my Amazon storefront for you. And I would have them in that box, sitting on a plastic garbage bag and a towel on top of that. And I would cuddle with them. I would have my arms inside of the box. I would have it around them. They would poke their heads up over the box and just sit there like a little puppet. And I would just pet them and touch them and talk to them. It was incredible bonding time. So have somebody else drive, you sit in the back, you teach them manners, you keep them nice and secure, you get to cuddle and play with them. It is a really good opportunity for you just to spend enclosed time with them. They can't get away. They can't go anywhere. They're learning valuable life skills, but they're also real close to you. You can keep them on your chest to feel your heartbeat. You can keep them in your arms, keep them on your lap. If you're working with puppies, have plastic. You don't want to get peed on in the car. It happens. And you want to take frequent breaks. If you are going out on car rides with your dogs, like stop to let them go potty. You know the drill here. But this is just such an amazing bonding time because they can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. They're learning those valuable life skills, but you also get just to cuddle and be so part of what they are doing. Now, another thing that really helped me to bond with my dogs was to wash them with water wipes. As it turns out, some of my puppies are allergic to grass and basically everything. And so when my puppies would go outside and they'd come back in, if you looked at their tummies, they'd have like little spots and dots and things everywhere. And so I used a water wipe. These are baby water wipes. They're not baby wipes. They're water wipes for babies. And they're literally just water wipes. There's no chemicals, nothing involved with them. Water wipes. My vet approved them. You're good. And I would just flip my girls over on their backs. I would hold them in one arm, or if they're a bigger dog, put them in your lap and just take time to gently wash them with a water wipe. And this can be, even if your dog isn't allergic to things, this is just a nice way to keep them clean. They don't need baths all the time. It's not going to be something that's going to like damage their skin because you're doing it when it's cold out. This is just easy little water wipe. It's not getting them really wet. It's just cleaning up that surface level there. And you're just going to very slowly go over their bodies with this. And you can do under their chins. You can do their chest areas. You can do their legs and their paws, especially if you have dogs that go outside a lot and come back with mud or clay or dirt on their fur. This is a great way to keep them cleaned up. Going over their tummies, going over sensitive areas to clean up after they go potty, all of those things. And that not only allows you to bond with them, but it allows you to teach them the skills of being clean, accepting when you're going to be grooming them and cleaning them and touching them like this. It's going to help them to maintain a healthier environment on their skin and in their fur. It's going to allow you to play with their hands more. It's really important to do like their legs, to lift them up, to go under their little armpits and their paws of their the pads of their paws. It's going to be really helpful for grooming later on. So you're actively just teaching them to accept your touch and to appreciate your touch as you are going through and cleaning them up. Water wipes are also incredibly helpful for cleaning up dirty eyes. You can kind of clean up their ears as well. You can tell I have English Springer Spaniels with the long ears, not the pointy ears there. But this is just a very good opportunity for you to bond. And my dogs, as soon as I flip them over on their tummies, I can say it's time to wash you. Like, they know the term wash, and they'll just come over and flip right over and give me their tummies so that I can clean them, because it's relaxing, it's soothing, it feels good, it keeps them clean, and it has me touching them, which my dogs crave my touch. They want to be living in my skin as much as possible. Being next to me is not enough for my girls. And so I bond with them through that touch, through going through the washing process, but it also keeps them really healthy. It keeps them clean, and it allows me to then later on be able to touch them as well. And I'm not the only one that does it. I allow other people in my family to help wash them off as well. Maybe not as deeply as I do. We don't necessarily have them doing like the full cleaning that I do, but they'll wash off their paws so that other people can touch them as well. This is really good for training them so that your vet can touch them, so that your groomer can touch them, so that friends and family can touch them. And it's really important to be doing that from the beginning. And I didn't do that with my previous dogs. I never like what are water wipes back when I was a younger dog mom. This has been a total game changer for me. And so I recommend water wipes and doing that little bit of a bath time all the time to people. It's a game changer. Speaking of, though, we want to make sure we're leaning into routines. Routines are incredibly helpful, and bedtime routines, man, that's a good time for bonding. My girls have specific routines. They understand what to expect for bedtime. And when we start to go into that routine, they also understand it's time to sleep. So we go through the process of getting them ready. My girls know at the end of the night, I spend about an hour playing with them because I've worked throughout the day. I mean, I've stopped to play with them. We've done lots of fun things throughout the day, but I will spend at the end of the day, I make sure I spend time with my dogs. It can be half an hour, it can be an hour. Typically it's around 40, 45 minutes before we start the going outside process. But I sit down and I play with them. And then we have a process for going outside. We go outside, we go potty the last time, and we come back in. And there's an order to this. My dogs, even between the two of them, have an order on how we do this. I then bring them down to our room and I will wash their tummies off. So I will bring them in, I'll flip them over and we'll wash off tummies. One girl is just kind of allergic to the outside. I just have to worry about her tummy. The other girl is really allergic to grass. So we do chins, we do legs, we do feet. And they have the different process, and we'll go through that. And then I will brush their teeth. And so I'm doing different variations of teeth brushing right now, different tools, different instruments, different ways. But every single night I'm using mint wipes made for dogs on them to kind of clean up their teeth and to freshen their breath, which is so very helpful. I cannot recommend that enough. And then I have other types of toothbrushes I do throughout the day, but they know as part of this process, it's wash the tummies off, wash the chins off, wash the feet off, and then teeth brushing. And then they get into their beds in their crates because they're puppies and they're still learning. And so we have this very specific routine of how we go to bed. And that is very much a bonding time because they get alone time with mommy. They get playtime, they get outside time, they get alone time with mommy where I am actively touching them and taking care of them and loving on them and giving them hugs and kisses and cuddles. And then I am putting them into bed. When they were younger, I used to sit with them on the floor until they kind of calmed down. Now they're very good about going into their crates and their beds and just laying down and settling. But we had to teach them through the process. But the bedtime routine is incredibly helpful because it's close, it's personal, it's designated specifically for them, and it gears them up to go to bed. They understand when we start this process, we're done. It's no longer playtime. We're not running around. We're not causing chaos. We're not doing things. We are going into the bedtime process. And that's going to be really very helpful for me. And on the note of routines, I also really like feeding routines. So for me, feeding time is very, very important. It's a bonding experience for me and my dogs. Some people will just put kibble in a bowl and set it down and walk away. I do not do that. Even back when I was just kind of putting their kibble in a bowl, I would sit there and I would do things with them and I would interact with them and I would train them through eating. But then I discovered one of my puppies would choke on her food because she was eating too fast and wasn't swallowing before taking in more. So then it became a situation where I am hand feeding both of my dogs. I am giving them one handful at a time, and in between I'm training them. We are doing tricks. We're doing lessons. We are working on things to slow them down, but also to educate them. I want to make sure that my dogs have enough time to eat chew, swallow, and, you know, give it a second before we try to gobble up more food. So I do space it out for them. And now it's a learning process and it's a bonding process because they get to do different tricks with me. They get to have different opportunities. I get to touch them again, lots of bonding, and they know they're relying on me for their food. And so this is a really good bonding experience, having a routine for feeding, whether it is as involved as mine or it's less involved, have that routine and spend a little bit of time with them as they are eating, before, after, during. All those things can lead to really good bonding experiences no matter how you design it for you and your dog's specific needs. Feeding routines are going to be helpful. And I mean, that can even look like you wake up in the morning, you go into the kitchen and you start to make your own food and you're talking to your dog while you're putting your coffee on and you're popping things onto the stove or into the microwave. Then you're going to feed your dog and talk to them through this process and then go back to your stuff and then take them outside. It's a process and it's a bonding experience. So it doesn't have to be like hand feeding every bite like I do. It can be something much more simple, but having that same routine where they understand it leads to that bonding time for you and your dog, which is just so incredibly helpful. Now, you also want to make sure that you have specific playtimes outside. I told you I take my dogs outside a lot. I have very high energy English Springer Spaniels, so we spend a lot of time outside, especially Lucy. And we do special things for outside time. They have special toys that they play with outside that are only outside toys. They do not get to play with those inside. We have special routines on how we play different games or what we're doing or how often or how long we're going to be outside. And I am making sure that I'm involved with this playtime. It's not just go run free. It is mommy's here to play. Let's play with your ball. Let's play with your Frisbee. Let's do the different things. You want to, and they kind of dictate playtime. I don't necessarily have like a stringent, like this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. I have multiple dogs. Sometimes they want to play with me. Sometimes they want to play with each other. Sometimes everybody wants to play together. Sometimes they don't want to play at all. And so I let them very much dictate playtime, but I make sure that I am there to have bonding time during playtime. So even if they decide to play with each other over me, and sometimes they get the zoomies and they just run around in circles and I could never keep up with them even if I wanted to, I will be talking. I will be having conversations with them. I'll be encouraging one puppy to get the other puppy. I'm making sure that I am speaking and engaged with them. I'm watching them. When they glance at me to see if I'm paying attention, I am. This is all bonding time for me and my dogs, even if I'm not hands-on with the playing. And then they'll come back to me and we will have hands-on playtime. And sometimes, because I have more than one dog, I will take dogs out individually. One dog likes to be out more than the other, but they also like to have equal time with mommy. So I make sure that I am actively playing with both together and both individually during this playtime as well. And then, of course, another really great way to bond with your dog is naptime cuddles. I will sit on my couch. I will sit on the floor. My dogs are allowed on the furniture. I will, or this round of dogs are allowed on the furniture. My previous dogs were not. It was a transition for me to get it through my head that I was okay with them being on the furniture, but my hand was forced a little bit. It's okay. Not by the dogs, other people in my life, but naptime cuddles. So good for bonding. It's really, really nice to just be able to sit down and let them fall asleep on you. And as puppies, you can hold them in your arm. You can hold them in your lap. I like to sit on the furniture or on the floor, and my girls will come over and they just put their heads on my legs. They'll just lean over me and use me like a little pillow. And I'll just sit there and I'll brush my hands over them. I'll talk to them. I'll hang out and cuddle with them. If they're sound asleep, sometimes I'll lift up their heads and scoot out from under them. But usually if I have the ability to like work from my phone, or if I have my computer over near the couch where I can just work and let them sleep on me, I let them sleep on me. I let them sleep on me all the time. Like, I would rather do my work with them sleeping on me than to be over at the table or the desk doing my work and then being across the room. I love bonding with my puppies, especially through nap time, because that means I'm their safe space. I am the place where they can relax and where they can do different things. So nap time cuddles, incredible for bonding, and it means you get to cuddle with your puppy, which is really fun. Now, there are lots of other ways you can be bonding with your puppy. If you've got ideas on this, go ahead and drop it down below. If you want me to explore some of these different things in upcoming videos, I would love to do that for you. We're dropping daily videos helping you navigate the world of being a dog parent. So drop down your fears, your frustrations, your requests, ideas that you have, things that you want to see on this channel, and guests that you would like to see on this channel. We're experts at working with dogs as well, so that we can help make you the best dog parent you can possibly be. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.